Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for your great support always. I'm so grateful for your continued support to this channel. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Sijui William Ruto atajificha wapi. Sijui vile atatafuta pesa kwa sababu alijipanga kuuza our parastatals na kuprivatize them for having a benefit of having money to run his government. The Court of Appeal has dealt a blow to William Ruto. Of course, his objectives to sell some public parastatals to private investors after it dismissed an application to suspend a High Court decision declaring the Privatization Act 2023 was unconstitutional. Ladies and gentlemen, before we continue, as you always do, ensure you like the video. And like the video, you automatically support the work that I'm doing in this channel, because sometimes you watch and you forget liking the video. So this is just a reminder. As you watch, please consider liking the video. Thank you so much for that like. Now, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, filed an appeal at the appellate court following a High Court's decision declaring that the Privatization Act 2023 was unconstitutional in 2024. So, in its ruling, we are being told that the Court of Appeal upheld the earlier High Court decision and orders, including the suspension of the planned sale of the Kenyatta International Convention Center, that is KICC. You saw William Ruto having an idea of selling our KICC to a private investor in the name of developing it, but they were to be given money, and this money they were to use to run their government. The latest ruling, I want to say, that means that the earlier decision declaring that KICC, a national monument and a symbol of national heritage, whose proposed sale will violate constitution and cultural right, will stand. William Ruto will not sell the KICC. Now, when you look at the organization and group of societies, like for example Katiba Institution, a human rights lobby, was of course one of the respondents in the case, including the ODM party, which moved to court to challenge the government's decision to privatize six out of 7 parastatals, including the KICC, Kenya Pipeline Company, and New Kenya Cooperative Creameries Limited, New KICC. So when we argued that time that what William Ruto was doing was unconstitutional, the Speaker of the National Assembly appealed that the High Court that decided that the Privatization Act of 2023 was unconstitutional, and so these individuals went ahead to try to appeal. And so after the appeal, remember one thing, they are being told that these 6 parastatals out of 7, they cannot be privatized. And the way the process they followed was unconstitutional. So in their suit, the petitioners also challenged the sale of Kenya Seed Company Limited, the Kenya Literature Bureau, KLB, and the National Oil Corporation of Kenya, which was, of course, rescued. The respondents had earlier argued that Ruto's plan to privatize the above parastatals, of course, contravened the Constitution and that they said organizations were the state assets financed by the public. And it was not in accordance to the constitution for William Ruto to come and sell these national monuments. Now, the latest ruling means that the government will go back to the drawing board. And of course, to review the Privatization Act of 2023, which was declared unconstitutional by the court, which they appealed through the Speaker of the National Assembly. The act provided for the establishment of the Privatization Authority and removed the requirement for parliamentary approval or approvals of its members. And so the High Court, in its earlier ruling, they maintained that the establishment of the act was not subjected to the public participation. And so then, William Ruto and his people, they were having this authority to privatize whatever they want, even to sell our properties, you know. So the Constitution is the supreme law, that is according to court. The Constitution is the supreme law, and the public must be involved in public participation. The National Assembly does not, do the public a favor by inviting them to participate. That is the argument of court. In other words, the way William Ruto was rushing to privatize and sell our properties, we were not involved, we were not called, no Kenyan was even invited to come and give his or her view. So it was by the nature and argument of William Ruto and his close allies that they had a right to do whatever they want. Remember, in November 2023, the National Treasury, of course, announced plans to privatize 11 state-owned entities. And of course, citing persistent losses despite the significant government fundings. So you saw even William Ruto saying that they were not ready to fund some parastatals that was, of course, leading to several losses, which for them, they were pumping a lot of resources there, but they were not getting profit. So he had his ideas and he said, what is the basis of funding these government parastatals, yet we are having losses, left, right, center. So they had no option but to come out and say that we are going to privatize these government parastatals so that we can have something to, of course, help us have money to run the government. That is what William Ruto argued. But now, as we speak, court has decided enough is enough. We are not going to allow you to sell our properties. What do you think? Drop your opinion at the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you so much because of your great support. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this video. Bye bye till we meet in another video.